Hey guys, what's up? Darcy here at 6 Strings 9 Lives. Back for another episode of 6 with 6 Strings. Welcome to episode 6. Just me talking about 6 random albums from 6 random bands from my collection. Try to show you a little bit more of my range of what I listen to. You know, this is way back to what I used to listen to as a teenager, all the way up to today. And I do carry over the one album from each episode. So today we'll start off with that band. In episode 5, that was Suicidal Tendencies. How Will I Laugh Tomorrow When I Can't Even Smile Today? And today we're going to talk about one of my favorites, not my favorite. My favorite is actually Lights, Camera, Revolution. Fantastic album, but I love this one, you know, almost as much. But that is The Art of Rebellion. This one came out in 1992. So that's the follow-up album to Lights, Camera. There's Robert, Mike, Rocky, just a great album. Track listing's upside down, but everything on here is good. Accept My Sacrifice, Tap Into the Power, Monopoly on Sorrow. I Wasn't Meant to Feel This, Asleep at the Wheel. Love that intro. Gotta Kill Captain Stupid, Which Way to Free. There's just not a weak track on here. Now, I basically kind of lost touch with Suicidal Tendencies after the album Suicidal for Life. So, you know, leave it in the comments. Is some of their new stuff just, you know, is it just as good as this? Because I really need to explore that this year and maybe pick up some newer Suicidal. But anyways, that's definitely one of my favorites. Let us know what your favorite is. Next up, we're going to talk about the legendary Black Sabbath. No, we're not going to talk about the Ozzy era. We're not going to talk about the Ronnie James Dio era. We're going to talk about the often overlooked Tony Martin era. And I'm going to show you one of my favorites from, I think he's on, about 5 of their albums. Forbidden, you know, I could probably do without that one. But this one is definitely on my list of favorites from the Tony Martin era. And that is The Internal Idol. YouTube, the song The Shining, then the video. Fantastic track. Great way to open this album. Plenty of good stuff on here. Ancient Warrior, Glory Ride, Born to Lose. Just a solid album by Black Sabbath. You know what? And Black Sabbath did just fine without Ozzy and Dio. Yeah, we all have our favorites, and I do too. But don't overlook albums like this or Cross Purposes. You know, let me know what you think of the Tony Martin era, Black Sabbath. Now, next up, we're going to talk about, I'll go with a newer band. And what I mean about newer to me, this band probably started around the 2000s. They probably have about 7 albums out, a couple of EPs. The album I'm going to show you is from 2017, and it was very, very high on my list for 2017, you know, probably top 5 or 6. It's a great album. And this band is, I don't listen to a lot of what you would call stoner metal or whatever, or maybe it's a little bit doomy. But I'm talking about Mastodon, and this is the album from 2017 called Emperor of Sand. Just a fantastic album. Produced by Brendan O'Brien. Brendan O'Brien's been around forever. You'd know him for production with AC/DC, Aerosmith, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Pearl Jam, just countless other bands. So Mastodon has worked with Brendan prior to this on their fantastic album called Crack the Sky, which is the first one I own of Mastodon, and then I own The Hunter and Once More Around the Sun, and then this one. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. I'm missing their first 3 albums. I don't have Remission, Leviathan, or Blood Mountain. Let me know, am I missing the boat on those? Should that be something I'm should be getting immediately? I do love these 4 albums that I do have, and looking forward to something. I think Mastodon, you'll probably see a new album from them in 2020. Looking forward to that. Unique band too. Like I said, they got the stoner groove going, but three out of 4 of these guys sing lead vocals. And you know what? I've always liked that. Even back going into, I'm not going to compare these guys to Kiss, but in the aspect of having 3 or 4 vocalists, it's pretty cool. It definitely makes an album pretty diverse. And you know what? They mix up the track listing, so it's this guy, this guy, this guy. So anyways, what do you think of Mastodon? Let me know. Next up, got to see these guys open for Def Leppard this past year. And I'm going to go all the way back to their 1986 debut. And why I'll talk about this one today. I think it's one of the best debuts of 1986. And that's Tesla's Mechanical Resonance. Fantastic. And yeah, I got the old cassette version here. Excuse me. I will show a cassette from time to time, some vinyl in these episodes, and lots of CDs. This one is just solid, top to bottom. Easy come, easy go, coming at you live, getting better. The hit Modern Day Cowboy, Little Susie. Yeah, and you'd never know by going to that concert that these guys are, you know, they're in their 60s. I mean, lead singer Jeff Keith is probably, what, 61, whatever, 58, whatever. It doesn't matter. He was moving around like he was 22 years old out there. Great show. Anyways, fantastic debut from 1986. Next up, we're going to talk about a band that I first got into in 1986. So, yeah, I'm showing my age here. Sorry, guys, but I'm just kidding. 1986. They opened for Metallica. I got to see them on the Master of Puppets tour, like I said, opening for Metallica, and that's Metal Church. But today we're going to talk about an album from 1991 that needs it's in desperate need of a reissue on CD. I have a copy, but I've looked for, you know, copies for friends, and they're not even affordable anymore. They're actually quite ridiculously priced. But I'm talking about the Human Factor. Yeah, their logo's not on here, and that still drives me nuts to this day. Hopefully a reissue, they throw their logo. I've seen some versions that do have that logo kind of in the corner here. Anyways, the Human Factor, great album from 1991. This one was a follow-up to the album Blessing in Disguise, which was their second major release on Elektra. And then they got dropped for some unknown reason. But, you know, to go from Elektra Records to getting picked up by Epic, you know, not a bad thing. But, and you know, Metal Church, they hung in there for years and years. They have some good albums with Ronnie Monroe. And now they're back with Mike Howe. The past 2 albums have been fantastic. 11 and 2018's Damned If You Do. Looking forward to more from Metal Church. So anyways, this is definitely needs to be in your collection. It's a great album. Yeah, check this one out for sure, The Human Factor. And lastly, today in of the 6, I'm going to show the 19th studio album from, excuse me, one of my favorite bands, and that's Saxon. I'm going to show you an album that I'm not going to call it overlooked or underrated. I'm just going to tell you it's one that if you wanted some of the old Saxon and the new Saxon kind of mixed up and just a good hard rock metal album, this is the one for you. Check out Call to Arms. This one is from 2011. Like I said, their 19th studio album. They have 22 studio albums altogether. You know, great diversity in their catalog. They go heavy, they go rock, they just all over. Always a fun listen. There's the track listing. Great tracks like Hammer of the Gods back in '79, Chasing the Bullet, one of my favorites. Yeah, so that is the last one I'll show you today. So hey, let me know, hey, what's your favorite Saxon album? What's your favorite of some of these? You know, do I need to be picking up some Suicidal Tendencies from, you know, the current lineup? Definitely curious about the first 3 albums of Mastodon. I hear they're pretty heavy, but I'm definitely not against that if you've watched this channel. Like I said, I've only had the 4 albums, and I do like to try what I call newer bands, and I'm anything 2000 to current day. For me, it's kind of in the newer band category, even though they've been around for 20 years. But let me know, and like I said, just something to talk about. Grab 6 random albums from the old collection and go from there. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I really appreciate the interaction. That's what I'm here for. And until next time, stay heavy.